Hey folks, thank you very much for tuning in. My name's Yellow Hat, and first I gotta click this ad away. Hey folks, thank you very much for tuning in. My name's Yellow Hat, and today we have the Pavlov VR Modern Gun 2023 tier list maker. That was a mouthful of a title, but as you can imagine, we're working with a tier list today, and I'm going to be ranking all of these weapons that you see down below here, including the two brand new weapons, into a tier list. The S tier, of course, being the top echelon of weapons, and the F tier being the absolute garbage tier of weapons. So we've got a lot of weapons to get through, and I'm trying to keep this video as short as I can, so let's get into it. First, we'll start off with one of the new ones, the PKM. I'm going to put the PKM right up at A tier. It is an LMG counterpart to the M249, which is here, and it shoots slower than the M249, but it is a one-tap headshot at all ranges, and that alone just cements it as one of the best weapons that you can actually wind up using. You do still have that slowdown with aiming down sights and everything. It is a bit on the pricey side at $3,500, but still a really good weapon to use, and I'd recommend it. Next up, we have a weapon that was recently buffed, and this is going to be the VSS, which is this funny looking thing. It's the only weapon in the game to have a built-in suppressor, and they buffed it so that the weapon has a 6-hit kill profile at close range, 2 armor. So essentially, up close is a better version of the old FAMAS. However, the fall off absolutely drags this weapon down, and so at long range you're going to suffer. On the opposite side of the spectrum, we have the Vector, which is probably one of the worst guns you can use in the entire game. Straight up, it is a 6-hit kill against unarmored players, and with armor, that means you need 10 shots to kill against the body. Like, its only use is on, like, anti-ecos, and even then, there are other guns that do a better job than it, and are cheaper. The Mini Uzi, I'm gonna put this at like a solid C tier. It's really good for dual wielding. It's cheap. You can use it on anti-eco, and if you rat in a corner with it, you can, kill somebody with it. But its range is kind of and I mean, yeah, it's just a pretty average SMG. Now, the UMP. Top B tier, it is $1,200. It's $800 a kill, which is insane. It's the best in the game for that. And it's a 4-hit kill against unarmored, 7 hits against armor, which is on the lower end for the SMGs, which is a good thing. And it's a 2-tap to the face against a helmeted player. That right there allows it to be a decent force fight weapon, I'd say. While it's not going to be the best weapon against like rifles or anything, I think it is still definitely a weapon worth learning. We don't even need to talk about it, but it's weak, it's overpriced, it gives no kill bonus. It's a recipe for disaster. Speaking of, it's very overpriced. Its kill bonus is super low. It's a disaster. Sorry, not sorry. But SPAS 12 and the Sega 12, while they can be good on anti-eco rounds, they're both not generating any eco. You'd be lucky to afford a Sega 12 because it's $4,200. And the SPAS 12 is $1,800, so you could just use the shotgun here, which is only $1,500 and gives $600 a kill, and do a better job. Shotguns, and probably shoot almost as fast, if not even faster. So there's your 3 shotguns in a nutshell, and we'll put the double barrel there. Speaking of shotguns, because it has one use, and that is getting as close to the enemy as possible. And I mean, you literally have to shove their gun into their chest, and when you do that, it instantly kills, and it's fantastic. Outside of that, though, this thing might as well be shooting hot air. So that is your quick and dirty on the shotguns. Let's see what we got next. The Scorpion. If the Uzi is mid-tier, the Scorpion is going to be like the 1D tier weapon, because it's essentially the same thing as the Uzi. However, it has a smaller magazine, and it just is, it's really small, so that tiny little charge handle, yeah, that thing right there, can be kind of difficult to actually, rack the gun, and so you run into really awkward situations with it. I guess we'll stick with SMGs, so the next one that I see is the PP Bison, which I'm going to put just above the VSS, under the UMP though. It's the slowest shooting SMG at only 700 rounds a minute, but this Bison has a couple unique quirks. One, it is the only SMG that can actually shoot through walls, and so there's specific materials that get put into levels when you make them. And in this case, the Bison is allowed to pen through thin materials. So if there is a penetrable surface on a map, chances are you could probably also shoot it through with a Bison. Now we go to the P90. I'm going to put you kind of closer to here. It's $1,700. It shreds against unarmored. It's the best weapon to use against unarmored players. The iron sights compared to where the barrel is way different than most other guns. So that can lead to your shots kind of going all over the place when you try to initially use it. However, this thing, like I said, against unarmored, it rips. The MP5, I'm actually going to put kind of above the shotgun and below the VSS. This is exactly what I consider like a middle of the road gun. It's good against unarmored players. It's not the best, but it definitely is on the top end of SMGs. Against armor, it takes 8 hits to kill, which is pretty average for the SMGs, but its fast fire rate definitely compensates for that, and it's got a pretty easy recoil pattern. But in terms of its actual viability, that's kind of what holds it back and puts it on the lower end of B tier. And speaking of, we are going to finish up the SMGs. We have a couple more. One of them being the AR-9. I'm going to put that above the VSS. I think the AR-9, in terms of practicality, it's basically a buffed up version of the UMP. It's $1,400, gives I think $600 a kill. It might be 400, I could be wrong. And it's basically like a mini M4. It's got the same damage profile as the UMP. It shoots faster and it's got better bullet velocity. So ultimately, I think the AR-9 is also a good choice for anti-eco if you want something that's just a little bit more consistent than the UMP. And the last SMG is the Draco, and I'm going to put that also at the top end of B tier. It's another good force buy weapon. It's an okay anti-eco weapon. I think they reduced it to 1,400. Used to be 1,600, but it has no fall off, which is unique for all the SMGs. And so it is a 2-hit headshot at any range, which is really good for something that's only, you know, a little bit over $1,000. And it's got a good fire rate. The other thing that holds it back is that it's got a 25-round mag as opposed to a 30-round mag. All right. It looks like we have pistols, DMRs, assault rifles. So we're going to go to the assault rifles. The SKS, I'll put it actually kind of top B tier. And so the SKS is, I think, how the DMR should be done. It is only $2,500. It's a 3-hit kill consistently at any range, and it's a 1-tap to the face, and the iron sights are really good. If you like your single shot weapons and you like going for long distance engagements, I think the SKS might just be the weapon for you. The reload can be a little bit weird at first because you load a stripper clip into the top of the weapon, but other than that, once you get used to it, it's fine. Plus it comes with a free ACOG if you like those kind of scopes. This is so hard. The SCAR is the same exact thing as the SKS, but it's $1,000 more. And that makes it way less practical. So I'm going to put it like lower end of B tier. It's still a usable weapon, but spending $3,500 on it when you can spend $3,500 on an M4 and attachments is just significantly better. Let's do the burst rifles. So the AUG and not the M4, the M16. I'm going to put those kind of mid to lower A tier. They're good force buy weapons. They do the same exact damage as an M4, which is a 5-hit to the body and 2 to the head. The AUG comes with a free scope. The M16 does not, but that's okay. And ultimately, both weapons are just really good. I mean, if you prefer burst rifles over fully automatic, these two are going to be your go-to. And the fact that they're $2,300 means that you can get away with force buying one of these in a search and destroy round. They also excel at long range because of the burst fire, so you can have an easier time trying to get longer range kills. The AK-12, I'm actually going to put that just above the PKM. It is $2,600 and it's a 4-hit kill, and it's actually one of the fastest killing assault rifles in the game. It just suffers from a really terrible recoil pattern because it just goes up and 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 never stops. The other thing too is that its bullet velocity is the lowest of all the assault rifles, so this thing is going to struggle a bit at long range, but up close you can easily melt somebody with this. I used to just detest this thing, but now that the weapons are actually factioned off, I think it has a little bit more of a purpose. But speaking of weapons with a purpose, the Galil, I'm actually going to put this thing at the top of A tier because it's just a good all-around weapon. It's $2,300, so it is really good to use in a force buy situation, or if you're even just strapped for cash, like if you're on a 3,300 buy after a pistol round. It does kill a bit slower than the AK-12, but it shoots at the same fire rate. Some people might even consider maining this weapon just because it's all around very, very consistent, and I just love that, you know, the Galil, now that it's in the Search and Destroy buy wheel, actually has like a solid place in the meta. And speaking of a weapon that was once really, really good and then just lost its fame, was the FAMAS. And I'm going to put the FAMAS at that high B tier. I think it's the one assault rifle that just kind of suffers at long range. Although I will say it's pretty decent up close, even though there's probably better options than the FAMAS just because of its crazy fall off. I think if the fall off was reduced just a little bit, or the fall off range started a little bit later, one of those two things, I think the FAMAS would easily have its place up in A tier with some of the other assault rifles. In all actuality, I would probably use an M16 over a FAMAS because they're the same price, and the M16 is just going to excel at long range. The LMG, I'm going to put the LMG, it feels disingenuous to put it bottom A tier. I'm going to put it just above the AUG and the M16. The reason I do that is because this thing actually out damages the M4, and it's $3,000, so you're saving a little bit of money if you buy this over M4 with attachments. But at the same time, I think the LMG, it has the same struggles as the PKM, where you're really slow when you're aiming down sights and the recoil can get out of control. It still, again, is one of the fastest killing weapons in the entire game. So as a result of that, it does deserve its spot in the middle of A tier. This is a hard one because I think the G3 does get a little bit outclassed by the M4, but the G3 has recently been changed so that it's fully automatic. It's a 5-hit body shot, and it's a 1-tap to the face, and it can accept a sniper scope, and that is it. This thing is either really, really good or really, really bad. I don't think there's really any in between. But the G3 is a weapon that if you like your AK-47, it's one that you can use on CT side. However, I do think that the M4 does outclass it and is the preferred choice of the CT or the defending side. But the G3, again, if you can hit your headshots, it's a very good weapon. Okay, the hunting rifle. The hunting rifle, I'm going to put kind of middle of B tier. I think the hunting rifle is okay, especially if you are good with bolt actions. But again, it's a bolt action, so it can be hard to use for some people. But the consistent 2-hit body, it gives $800 a kill, which is crazy. And I mean, it's a fun weapon to use. The fact that it's a money generator and a fun weapon, and it's actually useful because it's a 2-hit kill unless you shoot somebody in the foot. I mean, that's a recipe for a victory right there. The AWP will put just above it. I think the only thing is that the AWP doesn't give any kill bonus, which is unfortunate, but it is a 1-hit to the body against unarmored players, and that alone is crazy. So if you're good with the AWP and you know you're going against unarmored players, you're probably going to have a field day. All right, pistols. So pistols are a little bit harder to do because they're really good on pistol round, and then they're kind of mediocre in other rounds. However, there are some pistols that are still good in other rounds, and there are some pistols that are not. So we're going to start from the bottom to the top, and one of those is going to be the Beretta. Don't touch the Beretta. The only use case for the Beretta is armor pistol, but even then you could probably just use the starting pistol and have a little bit better chance of, you know, getting any sort of victory with it. 1911, going to put you in C tier. It's okay, and it's pretty good on pistol round as it's a 4-hit kill to unarmored players, and on a save round you can get $800 a kill with it. But other than that, I mean, the fact that against armor it takes 7 out of the 8 bullets to kill That's really rough. Now we get to the Desert Eagle, and I'm actually going to rank the Desert Eagle pretty high. I don't know if it'd be a cardinal sin for putting it above the LMGs, but if we're talking about usefulness, I am going to put it in the high A tier, and here's my reasoning behind that. And you might be looking at me like I'm crazy. Just hear me out. The Desert Eagle is a consistent 3-hit body shot like your SKS, like your Scar, like the old G3. It is $800, so you can use it on pistol round, you can use it on a full buy. It completely penetrates armor. It is a one tap to the face no matter what, which is a game changer, especially if you are forced to save with a deagle. You can spam it up close for a quick kill, and it gives $600 a kill. Next is gonna be the revolver, and we're gonna put you middle of B tier. Same thing with the deagle. It's $800, $600 a kill. This one saving factor for the revolver is that it is a 2-hit kill to armor up close. And so this is very devastating if you get up close to somebody with a revolver, because all they have to do is tap you twice to the chest and you are just dead. And with that, I think we move on to our next weapon, which is going to be the Glock. And I'm going to put the Glock probably above the revolver. It is pretty much the king of pistol round. If you get up close to somebody with a Glock, every trigger pull you have 3 chances to shoot them in the face, which is an insta kill, and no other pistol can do that. Plus it kills very fast to unarmored players, so you can even wind up using this on an anti-eco round or whatnot. It's again one of the best pistols you can use on pistol round. And so with that, we're going to go with the second best pistol on pistol round, which is the Tech 9. Sits right below that. It's a 6-hit to armor, 4-hit to unarmored, and it's got the largest magazine. You can just keep tapping away with this thing, and it's very good at long range. And the 5.7, I'm actually going to put just below the revolver. The 5.7 you can use with a smoke grenade on pistol round, and that is really useful, which is, you know, all good and everything. It does kill a little bit slower to unarmored players than the Tech 9 does, but the fact that it can shred right through armor as well is very good for it. Plus, in my experience, I think it shoots a little bit high. It almost feels like headshots come a little bit easier with the 5.7. Again, everybody's personal use is going to be a little bit different, but ultimately the 5.7, it's a decent weapon to learn on pistol round, and I think you can learn it and just do fine with it. So now we get to our, of course, top 3 weapons. And I think the specific order that they will be in, just right off the bat, is the M4, the AK, and the 50 cal. So let's talk about our S tier, our meta-defining weapons, the ones that have been defining the meta, of course, for so long. The M4, it's a 5-hit to the body, can accept all attachments. It is the most consistent weapon you can use in this game, and it is just so good. The recoil for the first few shots is practically non-existent. It is just a little bit of vertical pull, so you just got to pull down a little bit. And once you can learn the 5-round burst with the M4 or a 6-round burst or whatnot, I think this weapon is just beyond useful. The AK I put under that because while it is just disgusting to get one-tapped by an AK, against the body, it does suffer a little bit in that it's one of the slower killing assault rifles when you're going for body shots, but ultimately, I mean, you're going for headshots with the AK, and if you can consistently get headshots with the AK, you are in good shape. The last weapon in the S tier is going to be the 50 cal, and so the 50 cal is just your definition of a standard power weapon. You know, if you think of like Halo having a rocket launcher in the middle or a sniper rifle, or if you think of like Quake or, you know, any arena shooter where they scatter weapons around, the 50 cal is the weapon that's in the center. It is really expensive and hard to get at $4,800, but it is a one shot to literally any region of the body. However, its drawback is that you only get one shot before you have to reload. So if you miss your shot, you're screwed. But if you don't miss your shot, this thing is devastating. And this can change the entire course of a round in just a split second. I believe this is going to be it for the tier list. Let me see if I can swap anything. I'm going to put the P90 up a little bit. I think it's a little disingenuous to have it at the bottom of B tier. Actually, let me do this. I'm going to put P90 there. Put you there. Put the MP5 there. And we'll put... I think I am decently happy with this list, and I think it accurately represents what weapons you should actually be trying to learn. Like, anything here is fair game. And of course, there are some here that you have to learn as well, like all the pistols, maybe the FAMAS, the UMP is a definite, the Bison is a definite. So with that, that's going to be my tier list. Thank you all so much for watching. I know it's been a while since I've done a video, and I would like to apologize for that and just for going dark. The only explanation I really have for it is life. Started a new job a few months back. Well, new position. I've been busy with other stuff, but even then, I mean, we're all busy, so how much of an excuse is that really? I hope to make more content for y'all, and I want to do more fun stuff like the tier list, or, you know, interviews with other community members, or, you know, montages, highlights, etc., other tutorials. So be sure to stay tuned for that. And if you did enjoy this video, I would humbly appreciate it if you gave it a like. And if you want to stay up to date on my content, you can feel free to subscribe and hit the notification bell and do all that fancy YouTube stuff. But anyways, my name's been Yellow Hat, and I do thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video. Take it easy.